I got my guy Nique Clifford here. I'm gonna call you a Colorado State legend. Can I do that? Are you certified for that yet?
Uh, 2 years certified. Uh, I guess you can. I guess you
You
can. My
done enough.
jersey, my jersey not retired yet, but
Yeah,
we
you
on the
you done
way. We on the way to being there.
you done enough with this year. The Mountain West Tournament run, borderline Sweet 16. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Maryland guy, but I couldn't root against y'all and could root against you in that tournament game. But I listen. I
I
appreciate you being
appreciate
here,
that.
taking a moment. I know you're in a big pre-draft process right now. The draft is 6 days away. You are fresh off of a green room invite. So first of all, congratulations. But tell me how that feeling was
Thank
when
you, thank
you
you.
kind of got that officially announced.
Yeah, man, it was a surreal feeling. I My agent told me a few days before on Monday that I was gonna get the invite and that they were gonna put it out later this week, and so once it came out today. Had just finished a workout and it was just like wow, it just hit me like wow, I've been really chasing this dream since I was 3 years old. So I've been trying to get to this point for a long time, and it's just cool to see the work that you put in kind of come into fruition. But there's so much more work to be put in, but it's definitely a great milestone and achievement.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned a lot of that work you put in. Obviously, it's a dream. I know myself and a bunch of other people out there think you deserved it. They know you deserved it. We all do. So it's awesome to see. Talk about some of that work you put in because you're from Colorado. You went to Boulder. You ended up at Colorado State. I know that you planned on being a one and done going into school, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I started out like I didn't expect to stay in Colorado my whole career, but just like looking back on it, the way that it all panned out, it was cool that I was able to do that. And it was just the best basketball decisions that I felt like from my career was going to be beneficial to get me to this point where I'm at now. But I really wanted to get out of state. Like my dream school was UCLA. Out of the portal, I wanted to go to Loyola Chicago. So like it's crazy how I wanted to be other places, but still ended up in Colorado, and it all really worked out how it was supposed to.
Yeah, a couple things off that. I got to know, did David Roddy and his kind of development and going to the league as a first rounder, did that have anything to do with you going to Colorado State?
Uh, Honestly, not really too much. I didn't really look into that side of it as much because I knew the development there was great.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it was super cool to have a guy like Roddy and Isaiah who have developed and just gotten better and been able to showcase themselves on that stage. But I did know Roddy out of high school. He hosted me on my visit actually when I was coming out of high school, and so it was cool to just know him through that process. And then when I did go to Colorado State, it was all love. We wish we could have probably played together, which would have been sweet. But I missed him by a year or two. But definitely, I knew the development going in. The coaching staff was super bought into helping guys get better, and you saw that with Roddy. Winning Mountain West Player of the Year and things like that. So it was definitely a good spot for me to be able to develop.
Yeah, for sure. And I pulled up your stats too to make sure I have this perfectly right. You said you wanted to be a one and done going into your freshman year. Do you know you took 21 shots on the year? Do you know how many shots you hit out of the 21?
I don't know.
You hit three shots. You averaged a point a game freshman year. You thought you were going to be one and done. You hit three shots out of 21 attempts on the entire season. And even 2 years
Uh,
ago, you were averaging
Crazy.
5.9, 6 points a game at Colorado 2 years ago. So you haven't like taken these massive strides. And then you
Crazy.
transferred down, which is a very rare thing. A lot of guys like to transfer up in the portal and stuff like that. But talk to me about your overall development in general and kind of how important that's been because we always see guys kind of come from all over, all these different paths and stuff like that and yours is definitely a unique one for sure.
Yeah, no, like I said, the development at Colorado State was great. They helped me just get better and really just put me in situations to be successful. I feel like that was the biggest difference. I say my role was a little different at Colorado State. At Colorado, it just wasn't, the best fit for me necessarily, where I wasn't able to showcase my full abilities. I felt like I was talented and I developed and grew as a player there as well, but I just wasn't able to put it together and kind of showcase my full talents. But when I got to Colorado State, they just kind of unleashed the beast and allowed me to be myself and just have a bigger role to impact in more ways on the court. And
Yeah,
you
and I
know,
feel
just
like that's
kind
a
of took
huge
off from
part.
there.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a huge part, right? Like you saying how you played, you were a bench guy, you were a wing, you were a guard, you were a lead guy, you were kind of a forward and like almost a small ball five at times at Colorado State. Like you've played so many different roles that has to play a big point in like your perspective and your versatility, right?
Yeah, no doubt. That's going to carry me forward through my career. Just being able to adapt to different situations. I feel like that is going to be a advantage of mine to younger guys. I feel like
Mm.
because you're going to hit adversity at some point in your career, and so I'm glad for me that it happened earlier in college where I could just figure it out and still get to the point where I'm at now, rather than it happening two or 3 years into the league when I'm not playing or whatever the case may be, and then I hit a wall and don't know how to handle that. So I feel like for me, it's gonna help me be able to focus on making an impact in whatever role that is, whether that's coming off the bench, whether that's playing spot minutes, or being the guy.
Yeah, no, 100%. I feel that versatility. I feel like is your biggest strength. I think I've seen you say that a couple times before. And thinking about something that you really elevated was your three ball. I think right in your first 3 years in college, obviously you weren't playing crazy minutes, but even right when you transferred down and you got to more volume, did you change anything mechanics wise in terms of looks, in terms of efficiency, and kind of how you're looking at things from outside, or just kind of you had more opportunities, you had the ball more, so it just came through?
Definitely was mindset too, just confidence in my shot, and then also I did do a lot of work with one of my coaches, Ali, who's a legend over there, and
Yes,
he
sir.
hit the big shot against Kansas. I'm sure you're a basketball guy, so uh, I worked with that dude every day, and he really helped me with like just footwork, having every single footwork in my package, being consistent with my follow through, being sharp and consistent and intentional about what I was doing with my reps that I were putting in. So I think that was the biggest thing, and then just confidence. Trusting the work you put in, going out and being able to show that.
Yeah, for sure. Makes sense. Now he's got a head coaching job with there, which is super nice to see.
Yeah, so
But
excited for him.
it's so cool. It's awesome. It's and to think about who he is as like a March Madness legend for college, like hoop fans, like I'm like myself, like I'm like, holy crap,
Yeah,
I can't believe he got that job. Um, Something you mentioned before about your age, right? Like a huge thing in the draft world, and like the draft nerds on Twitter to the scout, even like scouts and GMs and teams, is about age. Like you mentioned how being older is a strength, right? You're 23, you're a young 23, but there are guys who are not even 19 yet. They're going to get drafted before you,
yeah,
after you, where you are. So like, I like how you said that you view it as a strength of like experience and your versatility and fighting through adversity. Talk to me a little bit more about that versus the younger guys where everyone's on the 18, 19 year olds. Like, why should that not be a thing? Like, I want you to convince me of that, even though I know it.
yeah. Nah, it's interesting too when you talk to a lot of GMs or a lot of people around the league. A lot of them, it's like a misconception. I feel like a lot of people think they hate older guys, but a lot of them say that they really like older guys because of what they can bring and the experience they have, and that they can plug in and fit right away rather than having to develop. And there's of course the teams that do bet on potential more so with the younger guys rather than taking an older guy. But every team has a unique perspective. But to your point, like the experience, the being able to fit in right away and help a team right away, I think that's where the advantage comes in of being an older guy. And then just understanding, like I said, the adversity of playing different roles and, buying into different ways to impact the game rather than just having the ball in your hands the whole time. That's what a lot of guys are coming out being the guy and aren't used to probably not being that guy anymore. So it takes time for them to adjust. And so I think it's definitely a superpower, I guess, of being one of the older guys.
No, I like the way you look at it. It helps a lot, especially with the role transition right away. And when guys can't transition right away, it makes them struggle, go to the G League, et cetera, and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
almost think there's like call it like a false ceiling, right? Like Brunson and Jalen Williams are another good example. Guys that were older who played 4 and 3 years respectively coming into the
yeah,
league, and like people think that older guys, high floor, low ceiling, but it's the complete opposite where like you don't know how good they can get, especially a guy like yourself where
right.
you've only been able to fully showcase what you've been doing for a year, maybe a two, like a year and a half. So like there's
Yeah.
probably layers and layers on your game that people haven't even seen yet.
Oh, most definitely. There's so much untapped potential I feel like I have in myself, becoming bigger and stronger, becoming, tighter with my handle, more consistent as a jump shooter. There's so many aspects of my game that I can continue to get better at. So I'm excited to see the growth of myself as well. And like you said, you never know what's gonna happen with anybody that gets drafted. Like you could get drafted a 19-year-old, and I don't wish that on my worst enemy, but be injured and they could be injured and their career could end early, or an old guy could play till he's 40. So like you never really know. It's all a bet. It's all a risk at the end of the day of who they're drafting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just try and look at it from a positive lens of being more experienced and older.
No, for sure. Definitely a superpower, like you said. I like how you look at it. Speaking of NBA players, I asked you the age-old question of guys you take after, which might be a tough question for you because you do so many things well. Like I feel like you're a net positive in every single aspect of the game of basketball. But are there any guys that right now that you're really trying to model after, whether that's to take your game to the next level or that you have been for a couple of years?
Yeah. Kobe's always been my favorite player of all time. So Kobe's a guy I watch a lot. Just trying to take things from him and just want to be great like him. But guys that's currently playing, I really like Jalen Williams' game, how versatile he is, how he does so many things to impact the game. Guys like Josh Hart, Derek White, guys that fit into that 6'5", 6'6" mold that can play 1 through 3 and defend two-way guys. Like that's what I want to be, and I can see myself doing at the next level.
No, yeah,
Uh,
I love
I
that.
do
And
like Shea a lot too. I like Shea, Tyrese Halliburton. Like I like their games a lot too.
yeah, yeah, it's good to take from the stars for the superstars for sure too.
Yeah,
J Dub's is an interesting one you mentioned. I put out a graphic a while ago. I gotta see if I can find it on the fly real quick. But I don't know if you know how similar you and J Dub were in your last year of college production wise. Like the statistical comparison is near identical, same height. He's got a little bit on wingspan, but you guys average the same things basically except for rebounds, which is like I feel like that Josh Hart mentioned. So I see that in you for J Dub.
really.
I almost see like a combination of like all of the Knicks wings together, basically. A little OG, a little McHale, a little Josh Hart. I do have to ask you about the rebounding in general. Like, what in the
Yeah.
world happened this year that like you're averaging 10 rebounds a game as like you said, 6'5", 6'6" guard in a good
Mhm.
conference is it was mind blowing to me. It was literally Josh Hart like 2.0. So talk to me about like what changed, if anything.
Um, I feel like I've always been a pretty good rebounder. Like since I was a kid, I tell people like my dad always used to teach me to be a good rebounder, which is weird. But like I was really talented. I was better than a lot of the kids when I was young. So he would let me get my like 10 points and I would score my 10 points. And then the rest of the game, I'd have to get the rebound and just distribute to my teammates and let them shoot and involve them. So that's kind of where I got my unselfishness for the game. And then also my rebounding skills, or not skills, but, mindset, I guess you could say. And so since then, I've always bought into rebounding and feel like it's a big part of the game that is overlooked at times. And as I got older, got more athletic, that always helped as well. But then, you also watch film and you start to learn the game as well. Like, you know, people may shoot from far, so there's probably going to be a long rebound. It's like stuff like that that you don't really think about. But there's skill to rebounding, but it's also just having a will to just go get the ball.
Yeah, that's just like natural intensity and stuff like that. But the
Yeah,
Josh Hart thing is great. Like you watch guys like that do the dirty work, and like that's gonna keep you on the floor. It kept Josh Hart on the floor even when he
facts.
wasn't playing well. So it like it kind of is what it is.
Fact. Defensive
Um,
rebounding. You can always do those two things. Hey, who you was cheering for at the end of that Maryland game? I know you said that.
hey man, I'm not gonna hold you. I was pulling for Derek. I gotta ask you, was it a travel or not?
um, I feel like in real time it's hard to call that call. So
Yeah,
I understand why they didn't call it, but when you watch it back, he did travel. In the
it's
NBA, it
tough.
wouldn't be travel, but college, yeah, it was a travel. But
Yeah, I know. It's tough. It's wild.
you can't call that in real time.
Yeah, exactly. All
It's a
right,
hell of a shot though.
it was tough. And I will say I literally recorded myself watching it. I'm going off tangent here, but it doesn't matter. I recorded
Yeah.
myself watching it, and you got the ball in the midi. I forget who hit the shot on the other wing, but you got the ball in the midi. I literally said out loud, I was like, "This is Nique's midi. This is what he does. This is oh my god, he does this every single time. Like double him, send somebody." And I think they did, and you swung it across. That was the original play, right, for you to kick it, or was that like read number 2? I guess.
Not a play was for me to score, like just ISO. But they were in like a zone, so it was weird. They were in a
Yeah.
zone, and so I just saw them, help over on my side. Lake was wide open for a three on the other side. So
Damn,
just made the
I thought
right
that was
play.
it. I thought it was it. It was crazy. But this is the graphic I was mentioning. You and J Dub. This is J Dub after his junior year coming out. The statistical comparison is like quite literally spot on outside of the rebounding and outside of his wingspan, which like it kind of is what it
That's
is. And
crazy.
it blew my
Yeah, his
mind a little bit
wingspan
because
crazy.
yeah,
Dang, that's crazy. That's yeah, I've never looked into nothing like that. That's
there you
crazy
go.
though. That's pretty cool. Yeah, he
Yeah,
do got
and that
long wingspan though. That's crazy.
yeah, you can change so many
You
things
can't
about your
teach
game, but you
that.
can't really change that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice man. So you said you're in Memphis right now. You're going to OKC. How many teams have you worked out for so far?
I've been busy. This was my 13th workout. So
Damn.
I've been getting around a little bit.
It's exciting though.
Yeah.
Anything draft night? You're going to be in New York because of that green room invite. Are you going to wear something specific? You know what you're wearing yet or no?
Yeah, I do know what I'm wearing.
It's a secret, I
I got a
figure. You
nice
know.
little yeah, I got a nice little suit picked out.
All right, all right.
I'm gonna save it though. I'm gonna save it for the night.
All right. I'll be on the lookout
But
for it. But yeah,
okay.
man, I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you. It's been a long road coming. I hope the best for you on draft night. We're pulling for that lottery stock. We're pulling for all of that. Okay.
Man, we gonna see what happens, man. I'm gonna end up where I'm supposed to though. At the end of the day,
Exactly.
it's God's plan.
Of course, man. I appreciate you taking time, Nique. All right.
I definitely appreciate you having me.